Hello and welcome to Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. I'm your host, Michael Gay. Today we'll be joined by Coach Katherine Clifford and the Player of the Week, Lizzy Kelly, in the first segment. In the second segment, we'll be joined by Steve St. Martin and Nick Anderson, the boys' coach and Player of the Week in their own right. We're going to start by getting an update from Coach Clifford on the team. So the last Around the Hoop, we talked about the upcoming tryouts. We're going to find out who made the team, and then Coach Clifford will give us a glimpse into the first couple of games and then the road ahead. So welcome.
Great, thanks Mike. Yeah, we had a really competitive tryout. It was some hard decisions. It was a stressful couple days, but we're happy with how things landed. We ended up with 5 seniors. We have our 3 captains who are on 2 episodes ago. Lizzy Kelly, Caroline Bean, Amanda Nocera. Gabby Heaney-Secord is returning with us for a 3rd year as a senior. And Allie Fleischer is new to the ranks and battling an injury right now, but hopefully we'll have her back soon. We had 4 sophomores on the team this year, so they all moved up. They're 4 juniors for us this year. Alex Finn, Fiona McGowan, Riley Murray, and Caitlin Curtin are all back for another year with a year of experience under their belt, so they've all made good strides. We have 3 new sophomores, Taylor Kane, Sarah Roycroft, and Olivia Holbrook, and we took 1 freshman this year in Elizabeth Gill, who's been doing some nice things for us too. So we're at 13 total, where we feel good about kind of the balance and depth and things like that. The girls have been working hard. Starting to see that all the pieces are there and just trying to figure out how to best put them together. And we've made strides there, but it's something that we'll need to continue to work throughout the season.
And one of the challenges that every coach faces is, you have your tryouts, make some very tough decisions, create a team, and then you blink and you have the first game. And so walk us through the first couple of games that took place. 1 win in the opener on the road, and then a loss in your second game. But what did you expect going into it, and how was the team played?
Yeah, so like you said, it's a fast start to the season. We had 6 practices and 2 scrimmages, I think, before our first game, which is just, it goes by fast, like you said. So we opened up in Wayland last week. Good non-league opponent. They're a tournament team out in Division II Central every year. And they were good. It was kind of a typical first game for both teams. It wasn't the prettiest game of basketball that's ever been played, but it was good. Both teams showed a lot of toughness, a lot of resiliency. There were a lot of lead changes. It was just one of those back and forth games. We found ourselves down, I think 6 with probably about 3 or 4 minutes left, and we were able to put some plays together, get some stops, which set up a game-winning 3-pointer by Alex Finn with 22 seconds left, which was exciting. So to be able to do that, come all the way back, hit that shot, get the lead, and then go down and get a stop to prevent them from forcing OT or winning it was a really good sign. It was a really fun opener. Again, not the best basketball, like we had plenty of work to do, but in terms of celebrating at the buzzer and heading down to the locker room and the bus ride home, and it's really, really good for the team when you can do that, especially early in the season when girls are still kind of getting to know each other. And then we opened league play. We hosted Medfield this week. Always a really strong team. They've been sort of the class of the TVL for almost a decade now, and they're still strong. They're good again. We played them tough. It was a really, really low-scoring first half. Both teams just playing good defense and struggling to get any consistent offense going. We knew coming out of halftime that the team that made the next big run would have probably the best shot at winning, and unfortunately they did that. And it's a credit to them and their defense. Really, they forced a lot of turnovers on us in the 3rd quarter, and we struggled to score a little bit. We ended up losing by 20, but learned a lot about ourselves. We've had a couple good practices since then, had some good team conversations about how do you feel after that? What do we need to do to move forward? We got to make sure we keep climbing the ladder so that next time we see them we're a little bit more ready for them. But I think we're in a good spot. We've had good practices this week. We have a couple tough games coming up. Again, the TVL will be strong as always. We'll be competitive every night, and hopefully we can get some wins and go from there.
Absolutely, have fun while you're doing it. So Lizzy, congratulations on being the first the Player of the Week on Around the Hoop. One of the senior captains, you were here a couple of weeks ago. Talk about again the transition from the tryouts to those first couple of games, and as one of the senior captains, how do you kind of pick up the team and kind of push them towards some of the early season goals that you guys have set?
Yeah, like some of the first scrimmages and first practices, it's almost like another tryout again, because you don't know where you're gonna play or where you're gonna fit in the team, and you just have to get all the girls together, start learning about each other, just be friends first before, because playing with each other obviously comes with time, in the games, and learning how each other play. But I think it's going pretty well. We've had a bunch of good practices. Wayland, like Coach said, is obviously a good win for us, and it was just good for the team.
That's great. So let's take a look at the road ahead. So on the 15th of December, you host Hopkinton. And then on Tuesday, you're hosting again, I believe, Dover Sherburne,
yep.
correct?
Yep.
And then Friday, you go on the road. So a few games before the Christmas break. What are you looking for in these next few games, other than wins?
Yeah, of course. I think just to keep progressing. I think right now we've seen as coaches from tryouts and trying to envision what the team could be. I think the girls are starting to see it and feel it in practice, that the pieces are there. It's just a matter of developing them with more consistency and putting them together. And I think that's something we'll look to do. Hopkinton's going to be a really tough opponent. They're defending league co-champs with some key pieces back for them. They'll be really strong. So that'll be a tough game for us, but one that we're excited to go up against good competition and sort of see where we stack up. We knew that our early season schedule would tell us a lot about ourselves, and we're hoping to end this first little mini stretch on a positive. And then next week we have Dover, Sherburne, and Ashland, who both have good players, good teams, good coaches. It's just one of those things that the TVL is going to be, I think, wide open this year. I think it's going to be I think the parity's less. I think there's going to be some column upsets. I don't know if they are, but I think it's going to be an interesting season in the league. So hopefully we'll be on the right end of a lot of those games.
Once you get through the Christmas break, I believe you have a holiday tournament.
We do, yeah.
As well. So talk a little bit about the
holiday
holiday
we're going
tournament.
down to Hingham. We went down last year for the first time. We'll play Hingham on opening night. The hosts, North Attleboro and Archbishop Williams, are the other two teams. So Hingham and North Attleboro are perennial, strong Division II South teams that we've seen both in the tournament actually in the last 2 or 3 years. And then Archie's is the defending 3 state champs, and they're just reloading and they'll be ready to go. So definitely a competitive tournament. And again, good for us to get us better. Hopefully we can get a win or 2 out of there. But we're excited to have good competition. Our non-league schedule is really strong again. I think that'll only help us down the road.
Lizzy, similar question. So these next few games, individually and then as one of the captains, what are you looking for, both again yourself as well as the team?
Yeah, I think our defense is looking really good. So I think we just need to keep that up. And then just on offense, just looking to get more motion, more ball movement. Obviously playing against a zone, we've had a little trouble figuring that out, but I think we practice it in practice every day, and we're starting to get really good looks on it. So I think just getting everyone shots, getting everyone involved that's a key. We just need to score.
Yeah, that's great. Well, again, thank you for joining us for Around the Hoop. Hope to see you back many weeks into the future. Good luck tonight against Hopkinton, and then next week, and then throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Great. We're now joined with Coach Steve St. Martin and Nick Anderson. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
So, Steve, we'll start with you. Again, last time we were here, you were just getting ready to go into tryouts.
Right.
So why don't you walk us through the tryouts and give a quick rundown of the team?
Yes, the tryouts, it's always a tough time, like we talked about the last show. The exciting part, though, is you just never know who's going to do well in them. And it was really competitive. We had a lot of great players go put their effort in. And that's something that we've always appreciated. And that's the first thing that we always tell them when we meet in the beginning. It's look, just go out here for these next 2 days and give everything you have and let the chips fall where they may. Just don't walk out regretting that you didn't, try your best. So everybody went really hard those days. It's a lot of running, as Nick can attest to, but it's a lot of running involved. And so we ended up taking Nick Anderson, obviously, as a captain, and Thomas Herbert, Owen Gaffney, and Reed Wilson as the 4 captains. And then James Tavalone, Fawaz, let me see, as returners, along with Joey Noon, Jack Turgeon as a returner. Then we had James McGowan made it as a freshman, which was very impressive. Very hard thing to do. Jack did it the year before. John Ing made it as a sophomore. Pat Riley made it as a sophomore. I miss anybody?
Some of the seniors
then you had John Hawat, Kurt, and then Jackson Seeley made it.
Yep.
And Jackson was a really interesting story because he's coming back from 2 torn ACLs back-to-back years.
Yep. So
the amount of work that he put in just to be prepared for it, and then able to make the team. And last game he gave us some great minutes too. So it's a real big shout out to him for being able to go through that adversity. And then on top of that, Shay McCusker made it as well as a junior. So
Yep.
Very, very impressed with the guys who put that work in, and they were able to do enough to make the team. And then we always say nothing's guaranteed now. You get a uniform, but if you want to earn playing time, it's the next step in the game. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then one player, Daniel Cassavant, he didn't try out because of the injury to his knee,
Right.
But it was great to see him out there with the team and
Right,
as
he's
one
the
of the
manager.
managers.
Yep,
Yeah.
he and Ryan David both had some physical issues that prevented them from being able to pursue playing this particular year. So both of them jumped on as manager, so it's been great. And they're super helpful. And Ryan's actually doing some of the work towards his senior independent project. So we're having him consult a lot with you guys at the Westwood Media Center, and then he's in charge of film and breaking down the stats. And we use a lot of the stats that we keep during practice and from the game footage and game film to compile not only what we're going to do in practice coming up, but also skill situations that we work on Sunday night's practice with the players. So, very important.
It's great to see those guys out there. So, again, as I was just talking to Coach Clifford, you have tryouts. Tough decisions are made.
Right.
There's some surprises. You're excited to see kids play their way onto the team. And then you blink, and a handful of practices, a couple of scrimmages, and the first game of the year, and it was a tough one. Norton came in, and the team didn't start off, with that explosive kind of intensity that we've seen.
Right.
Some early turnovers, and you were playing catch up the whole game.
Right.
Walk us through that game and some of the good things that you were able to take from it.
Well, I mean,
if there were any.
The game from our standpoint, we didn't play well at all and didn't play the way we're supposed to, and that's not knocking Norton at all. I mean, Norton came in with a game plan. I mean, their coach, Coach Mark Liebertor, is a great coach. He's always has them well prepared. And the thing about Norton is they've always been this way, is they don't vary from what they do too much, but what they do they're very good at. And so they came in with their game plan and executed it, and we were chasing from behind the entire game and played not the way we're supposed to. The good things that came out of that is the response that the players had. So nobody was happy, obviously. We were very diligent in our work in the weight room the next day, and then how we got after the practice on Sunday. And then in the film breakdown Monday before practice, there's a lot that we saw that we didn't really like and owned it. We were honest with each other and ourselves, and that's the first step in fixing any type of issues that are there. So that's a testament to the players to do that, and then Monday's practice instituted a lot of those things, and we're able to perform at a better level on the following game on Tuesday. So that's a step right there in climbing the mountain. And we dug ourselves in a hole. We were below sea level. So we were able to get out of that and take a few steps up the mountain. But that's an ongoing process, and every day you have to do that. But that's a testament to the players for doing that, because it could have easily said, woe is me, and put all, all that self-pity, and we put that aside. And that's a hard thing to do when you have a performance that you're not pleased with, and including Nick. I mean, his second game was the way that we expect him to always play and the way he's capable of. So he led the charge with that resurgence on how we wanted to play.
Yeah, and so the first game, again, home against Norton, you take a trip down 109 to Medfield.
Right.
And again, Medfield, a tough TVL opponent year in, year out. And it seemed that you were able to really do some of the things, again, that you had worked on.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
Yeah. Any other individual things that you notice from individual players? Again, we'll get to Nick in a second as the player of the week.
Sure. I mean, Cam Markowski played great, and I think I might even forgot to mention him making the team. He was fantastic. He took a charge for us, had a couple of great finishes underneath, played really great significant minutes. Owen Gaffney had scored 7 points in the third quarter, but also created opportunities for other guys to score by attacking the hoop and finding wide open positions and players. Jack Turgeon took a charge and also had a great turnover, caused a great turnover that allowed us to go a little bit on a run. It was a great commitment by the guys to make those things happen. And obviously Nick played really well, and so did Reed Wilson.
Yeah.
So we had a great contributes from everybody. And again, Cam really stepped up that game and played very well. So it allowed other guys to do some things. And I thought we handled it. They threw out a similar 2-2-1 that Norton ran. So we adjusted the things that we did in the following practices to prepare for it as well, and we're able to handle that. But we didn't have a chance to see Medfield play. We didn't scout them because they didn't play Friday night. Yeah. It's just we kind of went off of our old game film and some things that they've done in the past that they traditionally do. So we were able to execute that pretty well.
Yep. So Nick, again, congratulations. You're the 2017-2018 first Player of the Week around the hoop. So that's nobody will ever take that away from you. So you were a couple of times last year. You sat in that chair as well. So again, walk us through the early season as one of the senior captains. Again, you face adversity in that first game, and I know you weren't happy with your game. We talked about that before, but then being able to rebound that. How are you as a senior captain? How do you, number one, how do you do that, and then how do you lead by example with the other players?
I think on Monday, like when we played Norton, like when we watched the film the following Monday, we kind of like all saw like what happened, like what we should have done, and like what we did was like not what was supposed to happen. Because like we all came out like fired up and then we got spanked. So like I think that loss to Norton like kind of like lit a fire under us, like against, it kind of showed on Tuesday against Medfield, because like we came out like we knew like they always bring a tough crowd. So when like we came out like in the huddle, like we were all hyped because like there's always like a rivalry between us, and just it felt good just coming out with that win, because like we haven't won there in a while. So just like coming out strong again felt really good.
Yeah. So you mentioned that when you were looking at tape, you saw things that that you knew you were capable of better, or however you put it. Just for the people that are watching, I mean, we're not talking about I missed that shot, right? I mean, I should knock down that shot. You're talking about other things, right? Where you are, on the court, spacing, how you're picking up, help defense. Was it things like that, or was it just a lack of being able to score the ball?
It was everything. Like our defense rotation was awful. Like guys were in the right spot, like weren't aggressive on offense and defense. Like there was a ton of times where we could have taken a charge and like we got a foul. Like there's like 5 players that fouled out in like one game, which should like never happen. So we just had to be like smarter on defense, and that's what we did against Tuesday, and we were a lot better. That's
great. And then again, as a senior captain, you're continuing what is a tough stretch. 3 road games before you come back to Westwood next Friday. Talk about that again. The leadership of coming off a win now. So you had a nice win down in Medfield. Tonight you travel out to Hopkinton. How are you building on the success that you had in the last game?
Well, you can never be satisfied. Like it was a good win against Medfield, but we haven't won in Hopkinton in the past couple of years, so we have to come out with that eager and like that fight as we did against Tuesday against Medfield. So if we do that the same tonight, I think we'll be fine.
What does mental toughness mean to you?
Mental toughness is just like not caring like what anybody else says or like thinks about you. Like if like you play against like on Medfield or Hopkinton or wherever, like there's gonna be fans and like kids like screaming at you or whatever, but like they're just like in high school as well as you, so like it doesn't really matter. Just you go out and play basketball. It doesn't really affect you. You just like don't listen, just play.
Yeah, that's great. So again, congratulations on being the Player of the Week. Hope to see you in the seat many times throughout the season. Good luck against a tough Hopkinton team. Dover Sherburne next Tuesday, followed by Ashland at home at Westwood. Coach, talk a little bit about the Christmas tournament that Westwood will be hosting for the 3rd straight year.
Yeah, it's our 3rd year doing it. A few years ago, we were able to add some things into our schedule. Because of playing Bishop Feen, it gave us 2 extra games you're allowed to play. Bishop Feen is considered an exclusion school, and when you play exclusion schools, you're allowed to play 22 games instead of 20. So what we decided to do was add in a Christmas tournament, and that would allow us to play against teams that we felt They've always been in like the Division II tournament and given us a hard time. So we've had Foxborough that beat us one year. We've had Walpole that beat us one year. Hingham, that's traditionally always in the tournament, and Sharon. And so this year with Sharon is in there. So it's something that we felt would be beneficial for us long term to play against teams that are consistently year after year in the state tournament that you're probably going to see at some point. So we added that into the schedule, and it's been great for us. We use it as a try to raise some funds for things if we can. We pay all the expenses, but to get to keep the gate. So that's pretty good, and that's, again, a testament to what Mr. Gillis has done, Matt Gillis has done as an AD. He's been very supportive. And so it's a great way for us to be better as a team. And basically, that's what the whole standpoint of why we decided to do it. We felt we needed more experience playing against teams that are in the tournament, and that's why we ran it.
That's great. One other save the date, I believe on the 18th of January, you have the basketball boosters are going to be holding an event. So
right, the social, yes, which is exciting, very exciting. Our parents, both teams came together. One of the things that Coach Clifford and I were pretty fortunate that our programs like to work together, and this is one event that's benefiting both of us. We both parents putting it together, working together to plan the whole thing out is really exciting. So we're hoping that we get a lot of support. There's some silent auction items and different items that are up for bid, and it's going to be a really exciting time there. So, you know, any support in that, anybody who can support that would be great.
Awesome. No, it's and again, the best ticket in town, as I've often said, is come out on a Tuesday or Friday and watch either the boys or girls program.
Right.
Not just varsity at 6:30, but typically the JV team and the freshmen before them. So it's it's great basketball action. I'll also give a shout out to the WBA. Again, if a lot of the families that are watching from home are supporting their kids, boys and girls, on Sundays, 4th grade through 8th grade in travel basketball. And I know you've been making the rounds to some of the different groups, different teams, as has Coach Clifford. So basketball is, in my opinion, never been stronger.
Right.
All of the hard work that the kids do, all the way up in clinics and different events that you put on, travel basketball in town. It's sitting in that chair with Nick Anderson and other players that have gone through and put all that hard work in.
Right. I mean, we talk about this often every time we're at any type of WBA event or meeting, that I always consider us similar to the Tampa Bay Rays, where we have to develop your players. You're not going to make big splash signings. There's no 6'10" transfers coming in. I mean, that would be nice and all, but it just doesn't work that way where we are. So you have to develop players, and the more people that are invested in that, the better it is. So we try to do as much as we can. Coach Clifford and I talked about doing a potential December 1st to 3rd grade clinic as well. We're trying to navigate that and see if it's possible to pull that together with the gym availability and different things. So if that doesn't work, we're looking at doing one in February. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do. Yeah,
one final shout out on that as well is that the Open Space and Recreation Committee in Westwood is getting together to create our new plan, and it has a lot to do with gym space,
That's great.
Gym availability, as well as open fields and others that impact the town. So I'll be letting everybody know on one of the next segments on what that date is. Ironically, it was supposed to be that same night, the 18th of January. So we're Nora Lafnane is looking to change that.
Good.
So anyway, Coach, thank you again for being with us. This is a great little tradition that we have. We'll try to do it on a week-to-week basis. Nick, again, congrats on being the Player of the Week. We'll see you tonight. Going to Hopkinton. Hopefully, you have a good game, and hopefully, we'll see you next Friday as well.
All right.
So thanks guys.
Mike. Appreciate it.
So thank you again for joining Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. We have some great basketball coming up in the coming weeks. Again, I mentioned that the boys will be traveling to Hopkinton on the 15th of December. The girls will host Hopkinton at 6:30 at Bader Gymnasium in Westwood. On Tuesday, the girls will host the Dover-Sherburne team coming in at 6:30 p.m. And the boys will travel to Dover-Sherburne. And then on Friday, the 22nd of December, the boys will host Ashland, and the girls will travel out to Ashland for early games. Both teams will participate in Christmas tournaments, so look out for those times. And please support the Westwood basketball programs, whether it be the varsity programs. I mentioned the JV and the freshmen typically play right before, but also the WBA games. Westwood High School and Thurston Middle School, every Sunday, pretty much from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., you can find some great action. The CYO teams as well participate on Saturdays at Westwood High School. So there's plenty of basketball in Westwood, you just have to go look for it. For all of the Westwood Media Center staff, I want to thank them for their continued support for Westwood basketball. I'm Mike Gay, and we'll see you next time.